Hello everybody. So I just made this video about the problem that you see here, and I wanted to make a separate video to talk a little bit more about the details of how you would sketch this graph. Okay, because I think with linear programming problems, having a look or aware at or an awareness of the graph is an important part of the procedure. Okay, I guess you could work it. I mean, if you really know what you're doing, you had a decent imagination, you could solve this without any reference to the picture, but I don't think that that's most people. So I want to show you some more details about this, how you sketch it, different ways that it can be done, just in case you might need it. Okay, so I said when I did this problem in my previous video that if I graph each of these, then that's called the feasible region, and that the maximum or minimum values of the objective function are going to be found at the corner points. Okay, so we graph it and then we figure out the corner points. Okay, but what about like the graph to start with? Like how do you graph y is greater than or equal to 4 minus 4/3 x? Or y is greater than or equal to 2 minus 1/3 x? Well, it starts with graphing the lines. Like y is greater than 4 minus 4/3 x is all the points above the line y equals 4 minus 4/3 x. And y is greater than or equal to 2 minus 1/3 x is all the points above, on or above the line y equals 2 minus 1/3 x. So it starts with graphing those lines. Okay, so one way you could do that is to make tables and to plot points, and that's what you see here. Okay, there's nothing special about this. Here are the two lines that I said I need to graph, and I made a table. And for me, like if I was just going to plot something simple, I would probably always try at 0, okay, because it's a nice simple number. If I put 0 for x, I get 4 for y. And then, like, because I, as much as I can, if I'm plotting a graph, want whole numbers, even though this function 4 minus 4/3 x has a fraction, 4/3, if I put 3 for the x, it will cancel the fraction, and then I'll get a whole number. So the point I chose was 0, because 0 is nice and simple. I got 4 for y, and then I chose 3 for x, which canceled the fraction. I calculated, got 0 for y. Same thing over here. This one, y is 2 minus 1/3 x. If I put 0, I get 2, and then I'd like to cancel that fraction. It's got a 3 in the bottom, so I choose 3, okay, and I get 1. So that's one strategy for choosing points that you could use. And then if I plot each of these, 0 and 4, that's this point. 3 and 0, that's this one. Okay, so there's the line y is 4 minus 4/3 x, and 0 and 2, that's this one. 3 and 1, that's this one. And so there's your line 2 minus 1/3 x. Okay, now look at that. Look at the blue one and the green one. That is this line and that line. Okay, and then just on top of that, I had to imagine the feasible region, how all the points above those lines, and also graph x is greater than 0, which is right to the y-axis, and y is greater than 0, which is above the x-axis. And so this is what satisfies all of these. Above, above, right to the y-axis, above the x-axis. Okay, so that's one way that you can do it, all right? Now, you can also do something like this, okay? Here's a graphing calculator I use. Sometimes it's online, and even if you didn't have access to this, if you had a handheld graphing calculator, it might work something like this, and it'd be worth trying this if you haven't anyway, okay? Because this is something that you could use. So look, I could graph the line if I wanted to, y equals 4 minus 4/3 x. And it's not hard to do. I just type it in like so, and there it gives me that line that kind of goes down and to the right, like you see there. See this line right here? So there it's graphing, and I can even identify some points if I hover the cursor over it, okay? What about, though, the inequality? I mean, I guess what I really need to graph is y is greater than or equal to 4 minus 4/3 x. So if I wanted to, I could put in, just with my keyboard, I could do something like that, and it shaded all the points above the line 4 minus 4/3 x. So if I had, you know, y is greater than or equal to 4 minus 4/3 x, then it'd be all the points on that original line that I had, and then all the points above it, which you see shaded, okay? All right, so that's a tool that you could use, I mean, and you should know about it, but I think that you should also know that if all you had was, you know, your brain, something to write on, then it's as simple as just plotting some points, okay? And the points are not that hard to come by if you make a table. Even if you had a fraction to work with, you can still get some nice whole numbers which you can plot on graph paper, and as a result, figure out what the graph looks like that you're supposed to be working with.